Welcome to another episode of the Ironman Insider Podcast, presented by Morton. I'm your host, Matt Lieto. Today I'm joined by one of the most accomplished and respected athletes in triathlon, Paula Findlay. From her early days on the ITU circuit to becoming one of the best 70.3 racers in the world, Paula has built a career defined by longevity, consistency, and an ability to keep evolving. She's coming off of a second place at Ironman 70.3 Chattanooga a few weeks ago, and she's got some serious races on the horizon with Happy Valley 70.3 this weekend and an eye towards Ironman Lake Placid later this summer. We'll talk training, racing, setbacks, what's changed over the years, and what's still motivating her after more than a decade at the top of the sport. Paula, great to see you as always.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
2 decades, not 1 decade.
Well, yeah, you're totally right. I'm a little selfish because it's like 1 decade in like our sphere, my like biased Ironman and 70.3 sphere. But I appreciate
for sure.
You
Yeah, I think 2017 was my first half, so it's been almost 10 years.
Yeah, and I was looking, and I had to get like my calculator out to add it all up. But how many 70.3 wins do you have at this point? Like 12, 14, something in there?
Actually, I had no idea, but Kyle Glass from Pro Tri News texted me this morning and asked me that. And I was like, I don't know. I don't keep tabs, but he wanted to verify for some stats that he's doing, and it's 13 that I've won. So it's more than I would have guessed, honestly. But kind of cool that it's been that many.
And knowing Kyle, he knew the answer. He just wanted to talk.
Yeah. I think he's also trying to like boost my confidence a bit because I have a bit of a like bruised, fragile ego at the moment. So he's like hyping me up heading into this weekend, which is nice of him.
That's awesome. And I mean, I want to talk about kind of why you've got the fragile ego at this point, but also you won 4 of those 70.3s just last year, which like when you talk about someone that's been doing it for 10 years and obviously, as you said, 2 decades in the sport, but to get, I don't know my math, like 35% of those wins just in the last calendar year almost. That's something. For
sure. I think last year was a big success in a lot of ways. And especially now it's getting harder and harder to get wins at really any race. Like there's not really such thing as cherry picking or a soft field. Every race is hard to win now. So although I finished last year with some injuries and like that kind of tainted the year for me a little bit, having that success across the 70.3 circuit, especially early on in the year, was really good. And yeah, it feels like a long time ago now. So again, I'm trying to remind myself, like, it actually wasn't. It was only, 6 months ago that I won a race. So, I'm excited for the rest of the year, though. I've had a slower start this season. So hopefully that means being healthy, like, into September, October, and being in my prime then.
Totally, yeah, and your body doesn't forget, right? Like it's not like, especially if there's not this huge time where you're not training at all. It's not like you've lost that fitness that you had 6 months ago. It's different, right? But like that depth is still there. And to me, it's and I know I've been around you long enough to know that you need people around you to remind you of these things, and you need to remind yourself. Is it getting easier or harder? Like at the end of last year, like or beginning of this year. Was all you thought about were those DNFs, or were you able to be like, no, that was like on paper my best season ever outside of, maybe the year you were second at 70.3 Worlds?
Yeah, as an athlete, I think you really just remember your last race as that's the forefront of my mind. And it's not like I got over those races and then I was healthy again. I still had to build back from these injuries over the winter, which were frustrating and a lot harder to do when it's like middle of winter, snow on the ground, no races really coming up in the near future. So it was hard for me to remember, I guess, like the positives of last year when I finished with such a down. But as the season has kind of progressed and my training has gotten better and I actually am healthy right now, I think the biggest thing for me is just being able to run consistently. Anytime I have a niggle or something hurts, it's hard to like get out of that slump of feeling like I can win races again. But knock on wood, I'm currently healthy and have been for like 3 months now. So that's honestly the biggest thing for me. And like you said, fitness doesn't go away, but I think race sharpness goes away. And that's kind of what I was trying to get in Chattanooga, was a little bit of a reminder of how hard racing is and boost reboot my system a little bit. Because the fitness never really goes away that badly after 20 years of doing this.
No, it certainly doesn't. But it is, as you said, for the athlete and for the triathlon media and all us, our memory is quite short, right?
Totally.
And,
Yeah. I mean, for me too, as a fan of the sport, you're like watching Ironman Hamburg, and I can't remember who won, Ironman Texas. I mean, it was the same person, but it's such a short, fleeting feeling, the results at these events. So, yeah.
right. And
Good and
so
bad.
is it, yeah, is it also hard though? Like, are you able to keep that perspective that where you mentioned earlier how hard it is to win just one race? That especially when you come out of a season or you're near the end of the season last year where you've got 4 wins, but then it's difficult to get those 4 wins because it's so challenging because of the caliber of the women's field just keeps getting better and better. But also you have this goal that you want to try to win a world championship. So you've got all that in the tank, but then it seems like to try to beat the best in the world on a day where everybody's trying to beat the best in the world, you're putting your body on the razor's edge, right? And it seems like that's a totally different game.
Totally. And I think last year I might have been a little bit greedy towards the summertime when I went to 70.3 Augusta and knew it was a race that I had a good chance of winning and wanted another race under my belt. But ultimately that's where I got hurt. And then that costed me 70.3 Worlds, which was on paper like a great course for me. And I did get partway through the race in super good position. So would have, could have, should have. But I think to be at your prime at these most important events, which do matter most to me, you do have to be really strategic with which races you do. And especially now with the Ironman Pro Series, it can get a little bit overwhelming to think about how much racing you have to do at that tippy top level if your focus is also to do well at Kona and at 70.3 World Championships. So it's a balancing act. And then of course there's the T100 trying to fit that stuff in, and which I did a lot of last year as well. So in total, racing 10 times, that's a big toll on the body.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I think it also, and correct me if you think I'm wrong, but it also adds up holistically and maybe on a nervous system level too, right? Because I know not some people are cool as a cucumber going into races and some of us are not, and we get stressed out. So if you've got 10 races with the best athletes on the planet that you're trying to beat, do you think that stress around that adds up as well, and that's part of the picture?
I think so for me. I mean, I'm not a super chill cucumber when it comes to racing. I get super nervous, but I have since I started. It's not a foreign feeling to me to have those nerves, but the travel combined with the race lead in, all those things. I think as you race more in the season, it gets a little bit easier because it becomes a bit second nature to know what to pack, and your efficiency at airports, stuff like that gets easier. But in terms of the mental toll, of course, and the stress leading into them, it always weighs on me a bit. And I mean, everyone gets nervous, but the more you do it, there's definitely a lifespan of how many times you can do that to yourself.
There's only so many times you can be frazzled going into a race. Yeah,
exactly. And that honestly is why I go to some of these non-pro series events is Augusta last year, Boise, Chattanooga this year. They don't have the media hype. They don't have as much attention as some of the pro series races in the world championship. So it is nice to get a little touch of that. Just the nerves are lower, the expectations are lower. But on the flip side, I expect myself to win those types of races. So it still brings nerves no matter what.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think people underestimate that, especially for folks that do get stressed going into races, that getting reps of races that are less stressful is helpful. I don't know if you remember Steve Larson, but he was a big racer back in the day, and he told me early in my career that although he was referring to me doing a try for fun, and he said, yeah, you, Matt, you should go to a try for fun so you can learn how to win races. And I was that was how Steve did it. It was kind of under the table, but
or a race the PPP or something local or
something like that. That's the World Championships for sure.
A win is a win. Yeah, it's true.
It is, and no, I'm glad you've done that. Obviously, I imagine, was that your first Boise last year?
It was, yeah. It hasn't been a pro race since I started, but it was an awesome race. Unfortunately, so cool. It's the week after Placid, so probably won't do it this year, but
Can't do
I
it
loved
this
it.
year. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So yeah, let's get into, well, we need to step back a little bit. So tell us what was going on as far as the injury was at the end of last year and kind of how you've moved through it coming into this year.
Yeah, last year I had like a tear in my glute med attachment at the hip. Had like MRIs and ultrasounds and all that just to confirm it. And I actually still traveled to Worlds or where was it?
Marbella.
I can't even remember. In Marbella. Of course, I loved like the climbing and
So great there.
the swim was amazing. The vibe was so good there. So I still went thinking I could finish and maybe do a little bit of damage, but it was worth it to try to get a podium at World Championships. But I got like a kilometer into the run and it was like stabbing pain. And I know as an athlete, there's definitely a line where you're like, I'm doing permanent damage if I keep going versus like I can push through this and yeah, it'll hurt, but it's okay. And it was beyond that. So it took a long time to get over it. I had to stop running for a few months and I actually did a lot of like backcountry skiing and I think that kind of helped it through the winter because it's a non-impact but still a lot of like strength building.
Totally.
Yeah,
And
that helped a lot.
Was did Jay Deshari get you? Did he encourage you to do more backcountry skiing as well?
He didn't encourage me to, but he didn't say that I couldn't do it. So
No, it is. I have similar issues, not like a strain, but like weak glutes and backcountry skiing. Like you're locked in. Like you have to use your glute, right? So like you actually not only like had cross training, but your glute is stronger because you did that. Right.
For sure, yeah. And it's such a slow motion, but your heart rate still gets high because you're at altitude. And we love doing that through the winter. But sadly, I also got a knee injury while I was skiing. So that was like another thing I was kind of trying to deal with through January and February was this knee issue. And of course, when I get an MRI, they're like, you have arthritis and both knees. Your knees look terrible. It looks like you've been running forever. I'm like, well, I have. So thankfully that is past and my knees feel completely fine again, but also a little bit of a worry leading into the season.
Right. Do you think you've gotten a lot better at managing injuries and even just like having the awareness, like you said, at Marbella to realize that, oh, this is something that could mess me up for a while? Because I think early Paula, maybe it was like 8 years ago, Paula in 70.3s, it was like, if she's consistent, there's, nobody's going to beat her. But like, that was a big question. Like it seemed like there were times where you were chasing to get those results and the injuries kind of were what kept holding you back.
Making bad decisions. Yeah, that was more of a problem in the later stages of my short course career because I did have such a good initial phase of like junior to senior in 2010, 2011, racing short course. And then, when you're that young, you kind of feel invincible and you're like, yeah, this hurts, but it'll be fine tomorrow. So I did make a lot of bad choices back then. I think I have been better with it throughout my 70.3 career in general. And I've had a few things, but for the most part, I've been pretty healthy. And I know now when to kind of pull the plug in training if something's getting sore, just to prevent some kind of catastrophic thing that's going to put me out for months. But it's easier said than done. Like sometimes niggles show up really suddenly and can get bad really quickly. So it's kind of an issue that all athletes have to deal with. And I wouldn't say I'm perfect at it, but I've definitely learned a lot over decades of this that I have to be smart.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of the game. You got to learn how to work through those things. And I mean, kudos to you too, because I think especially since you've been in the sport for so long, it'd be really easy to think that this was the one where you're like over it, and the fact that
it totally was this time though. I mean, the knee thing was like the final straw for me. And I thought that I'm not going to run again. I don't want to come back from an injury again. Like this sucks. And how many times can I do this? And to be totally honest, like this year is the year I've felt my body being older than it ever has. Like it takes me longer to get over sessions that are hard. I wake up and I'm kind of like creaky and sore. So believe me, it hasn't been easy this time to kind of get that motivation to be back. But, Chattanooga wasn't my best race ever, but even just crossing the finish line healthy was a huge win. And back in January, I didn't envision myself doing that. So, it hasn't come easily. And I don't know how many more times I can do it, but For
Does it,
2026, I'm good.
that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Does it help to have the new, like to have the goal of, does it help or does it make it more intimidating to have the goal of an Ironman as a like, because I know it's something that you've been probably a little bit afraid of, or maybe a lot bit afraid of, but also
Yeah.
very excited about. Does it help to have that on the horizon as like a carrot to like continue to work for?
Totally helps. Yes. It's the only thing I'm really excited about this year so far is like this new thing in the horizon. And the training is a little bit different now that I'm doing. It's a lot more like low intensity for longer, which I'm actually loving. And I think it suits my body really well at the moment. A
Yeah.
lot of my injuries have stemmed from running too fast. And not that I'm like super fast at running, but anytime I go to the track and try to run under 3:30 per K, it's like that's when it stresses my body the most. So kind of hovering around Ironman pace forever is, I think, really good for me. Like I wake up the next morning, I'm not sore, I feel fine, even though I've done a huge workload the day before. So I'm so excited for something new, and I told myself I'd do it last year, and I'm kind of kicking myself for not. But just looking forward to Placid this year. I think it's a course that suits me as well, so it'll be fun.
That's sweet. And
Yeah.
leave it to you to be self-deprecating and say that you're not that fast of a runner anyways.
Well, I mean, I'm not like doing max effort 200s or whatever, but you know what I
Totally.
mean. It's like anytime you're a little quicker than you should be, it's hard on your body.
Oh, for sure. And I think I'm glad that you've seen that the Ironman training does suit you well. And I think once you get a little further out from this injury, you might see that we've seen a lot of 70.3 athletes actually get better when they do Ironman. Not all, but some, because in reality, and I'm going to get crap for this probably, but in 70.3 in general, certainly for most age group athletes and for a lot of pros, nothing you're training for to do on race day is actually fast, right? Like if
Hmm.
you were to train for half marathons, you'd be running way faster than you're running now, right? So like
Totally. Yeah.
you have that, especially since you had that ITU background, you have that neuromuscular memory to be
Hmm.
able to pull it out on race day. But the most important thing is strength
Hmm.
at that race pace and durability and consistency, right? So like
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ironman training does actually help your 70.3 output when you're a couple more months down the road, you know?
That's what my hope is. Yeah. I think in general, I've felt like fitter now than I do sometimes when I'm training for 70.3, when I just kind of feel
Yeah.
worn down from the speed and the VO2 max stuff all the time. So, yeah, this has been fun. And then it's like kind of satisfying to finish a 5 hour bike ride and I don't know, try to get the nutrition right and just all these challenges that aren't as critical in a half as they are in a full. And
Yeah.
I've been doing the sport for like 25 years, but this is like a whole new sport almost that I'm getting ready for. So that's cool as well.
Totally. So what are you most, why has Ironman been something that you've wanted to do? Like for someone that, as you and Kyle Glass know, has won 13 70.3s, had great ITU career.
Hmm.
What is it about that being like, I've got to do it before I'm done?
I think it's the curiosity of how good could I be at that. And
Right.
I really made my career in short course and could have retired after that and been very successful. But I jumped up to 70.3 and it gave me this like new look on the sport and had a whole other career in half Ironman. And now there's this like whole other distance. So as I get older and nearing more retirement, I'm like, I would completely regret it if I didn't give myself a good chance of going after it. And it's not like other people have said it suits me, but I truly deep down feel like it actually will. And of course, it's so hard. And all the friends that I've talked to who do it and who have done a lot of them are like, there's going to be a lot of low points in the race. But I think mentally I'll be able to kind of get through those and in a different kind of discomfort than you feel in a 70.3 when you're kind of redlining and can't go any faster. So, yeah, I don't know. It's more curiosity than anything, I guess, and a change.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. And again, and also a stimulus that, it's for someone that's dealing with an injury, a stimulus that actually might improve the rest of the season or maybe years moving forward. What
Yeah.
is the most intimidating thing about lining up for your first Ironman and like specifically at Lake Placid?
It's actually kind of been interesting watching the Ironman Pro Series races, like the fulls, as a spectator and a fan of the sport, because you see how the races are unfolding, and it really is unpredictable when you're in the swim, for example, what it's going to look like 6 hours later when you're onto the run. So I've learned a lot just by observing it and knowing I'm going to do one soon. You really can't count yourself out at any point in the race, because it is kind of like a strong man's game, where whoever has the most resilience to the end and who feeds themselves the best is going to do best. So I almost feel like I might be less nervous heading into an Ironman, because in a 70.3, like little things go wrong can have like a catastrophic effect. Whereas in an Ironman, you're a little bit more in control of your own effort and your own destiny in some ways. So, yeah, I guess that's the biggest difference. The most challenging thing I think is going to be the nutrition. And I'm not a person who really easily eats like 100 grams of carbs an hour and a half or anything. Like it's a huge focus and effort of mine to try to get enough carbs. So I can get away with it in a half if I don't eat enough a little bit, but in a full you just can't. So that's kind of scary to me.
Performance runs on fuel, and carbohydrates power endurance, in training and on race day. Fueling well isn't just about racing. It's how you train harder, recover better, and build the adaptations that lead to stronger performance when it counts. Morton's patented hydrogel technology delivers the carbohydrates you need while staying easy on the stomach, carrying fuel through the stomach to where it's absorbed, helping reduce GI issues often caused by traditional sports fuels. And it's available on course at all global Ironman and Ironman 70.3 races. Yeah, and what have you guys been doing in training to test that? Because people always ask that question. Like for me, I had a specific workout where I was like, okay, I'd run 10K hard off of a race sim-ish bike ride and be like, okay, like I'm not going to do a whole marathon afterwards, but like I kind of know at that point if something feels right or not. And you like, I was trying to put as much as possible. What's your kind of test for that?
I haven't done any like huge race simulations or anything yet, but I've gotten to the point of taking in 80 grams of carbs an hour on the bike, which is not, I know, as much as some people take, but it's a lot for me. And ran off the bike and felt totally fine after. And for me, it's not really a matter of how I'll feel on the run or like how my stomach handles it. It's just a matter of physically getting it into my body, because when I'm riding in TT position, I'm not super comfortable like riding with one hand and reaching down for my gels. Got it. You know, that's the hardest part. So we've tried to like make that as simple as possible so that I can like fuel without disrupting my progress forward as much, you know?
Right.
That's the hardest part for me.
Yeah, and I feel like Placid is actually a good course for that, because the roads are super smooth and there's a bunch of uphills where you're going to be at lower speed to be able to get that up and sitting up. So
yeah, totally. It's not like Texas where you really want to be aero the whole time, right?
Right. And it also helps for the digestion too, because you know you're not in that tight position where maybe you're putting a little bit pressure on your gut to be able to keep things opened up. So I think that's helpful. And I can already tell that you're going to do great at Placid, because I think one of the things that people underestimate about an Ironman, I think a lot of people think, pros, amateurs, fans alike, that whoever's the strongest on the day is always going to win. And it's whoever, theoretically, yes, that could happen, but it's who solves the problems on the fly the best. And who keeps that mental fortitude throughout the whole thing. And if it seems like, obviously you've got a lot of resources like Heather Jackson, Lindsay Corbin, like a bunch of friends, you know, that have done the distance, but also yourself looking at these things, like it seems already that you're trying to learn the lessons that you learn the first time you do an Ironman before you go into your first Ironman.
I guess a little bit. Yeah, of course. I don't want to be like, oh, I got this down like before I even start the race, because of course stuff's going to come up, and there's a good chance I'll like hate it so much I'll never want to do another one. But I'm keeping a very open mind about it. And yeah, it's like even if you get a flat tire or something, your race is not over. So dealing with those things in an 8-hour race is totally different than in a 4-hour race where the margins are so small.
Right. And a name I didn't mention there, and I don't know at this point if she's you can tell me if she's racing Placid, but has Jackie Herring, have you picked her brain a little bit? I know you guys are buds, and she's obviously had great results in Placid and over the Ironman distance. Have you picked her brain at all a little bit?
Yeah, Jackie's super inspiring how good she is at the full and how like
Crazy.
nonchalant she is kind of about everything. Like she has just
Everything.
very, very low key attitude, and it's the opposite of me at races. So I actually really like being around her because she like calms me down a lot. But I don't think is planning on Placid. I don't think she loved that race last year. Her and Holly both, who are both good friends of mine, they finished the race. And I remember I was riding at Mackenzie Pass and getting texts from them like, I'm never doing another Ironman. Like they just, the typical immediate reaction. It's a hard one. Yeah. And the weather sucked last year in some ways, like it was raining, right? So,
Right.
yeah, but that for some reason didn't deter me from doing it. I still am interested in like a hilly kind of strength-based course. So I'm going to try it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think for what you're saying, as far as like, or what we've been talking about, is like problem solving and figuring things out as you go, responding to different situations. I think a tough course like that makes more sense when it comes to that, right? There's a little bit more learning curve because you are such a strong athlete. If you have something that you have to deal with, you can still be strong even if you've lost a few minutes and move your way back to the front of the course, where it's a race where you're cruising at 26 miles an hour the whole time. It's a little bit harder to make that kind of time up.
Yeah. It's broken up a little bit more. And yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be times in the Ironman where you feel like I am going so slow. I am running so slow because I'm used to the feeling of doing a 70.3, but you have to remember that like everyone feels that way. And, it gets hard as it goes on. So
totally. Yeah, it's a catered training day, and you can run as fast as you want the last 10K. Right?
Yes.
Like go do it. You can hold yourself accountable by saying, cool, once I get to mile 20, I can run as fast as I want.
Yeah, then I'll really let her rip. Just kidding. That'll be my goal.
That's awesome. So Happy Valley this weekend, obviously that race being North American Championship and part of the Pro Series, it's bringing some big names. Are you pretty pumped to get to that one as a like kind of continuing to build in the season towards Placid?
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I don't know how honest and transparent I should be on this podcast, but I've had some like tough moments in the last month of like meltdowns on the highway and like, do I want to do this anymore? I'm not good at this. It's
right.
A mental game. Like physically, I'm okay. Mentally, I'm not always okay. So although I'm excited for it, it's kind of what we talked about earlier, like remembering that this is the kind of race I can win. And I won North American champs last year. That's really hard for me to remember when I'm like in the depths of a hard session or trying to pack up my bike and feeling like I don't really feel ready for this. Had my confidence kind of blown in Chattanooga a little bit when it didn't unfold how I thought it would. So it hasn't been easy, but I think Happy Valley, I've heard, is a course that is like super hilly. It's a place I've never been before. I think I've, over the last month, needed to remind myself that like no one cares as much as I care. And I'm putting all this pressure on myself thinking like I have external expectations to win these races, but coming second in Chattanooga was great. And like, I just need to go and have the best race I can without thinking so much about other people and what other people are doing. That's what I've kind of been trying to focus on the last couple of weeks, but it hasn't been completely smooth.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, it's hard too when you have other goals, right? Like when you're doing Ironman training and have a lot of mental output going into that as well. Is there a point where maybe this is kind of what you're talking about? Is there a point where you can tell yourself that it's okay not to win this race, and that puts you in a position where you're actually a little bit more laid back and like more opportunity to then win the race? If it's like, it doesn't matter if I win, if I'm prepping for the bigger ones down the road.
Yeah, I guess a little bit. It's hard to feel that way in the moment, but I think that that's actually what I've done the best in some other races in the past where I've taken away the expectation because Taylor Knibb is there and Kat Matthews is there and like all the absolute best in the sport. And I don't expect myself to win. So it's almost like only good things can happen if I do really well. But yeah, some of these North American races, I expect myself to win. So that is where the nerves and the pressure and the weighing feeling come on. But yeah, I think Happy Valley, I'm going into it with a bit more of an open mind. And like you said, being in the middle of a little bit of a different training block than I'm used to could be a good thing, could make me more tired. But I just have to not care what other people think, right? I don't know. Just go
Yeah,
race the
totally.
best
And
for me.
totally. And the reality is like everybody on like most people watching understand that and are stoked when they see you with a smile on your face crossing the finish line, regardless of what, like we all care a lot less if you win every race than you do.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, for
Like,
sure. Totally.
right. And that's, but I mean, and it's easy to talk like this, and say like you can change these things or have this adjustment, but like that's also why you won 1370.3s. So like that's a good thing to some extent that you
Yeah.
have that too, that you do, but like letting it evolve as we mature is probably a good thing as well.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think I've like if I look back, always Oceanside, I've felt a little rough and it was kind of the rust buster for the year. So I'm thinking of Chattanooga kind of as that. And then 4 weeks later, I came back in St. George and always felt great and had a good race. So I think the training effect even of doing a 70.3 and doing the first one of the year like I did in
Yeah.
Chattanooga is kind of big. And I've only just gotten better with like the sessions and everything over the last 4 weeks. So yeah, a little more physical confidence, but I've also done a lot of work on like my mindset over the last couple of weeks as well,
Yeah. Right.
semi-successfully.
Can't win them all.
Yeah.
Um, so, we're talking about your kind of longevity a little bit, and seeing, I remember watching you at one of your am I wrong in that St. George was one of your first 70.3 races back,
Yeah,
or at
2018.
the distance? Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, Looking at you then and looking at you now, what do you think you're better at in this game than you were 10 years ago? And it doesn't have to be an output thing. It could be a mindset thing, or an attitude thing. What have you learned?
I think I don't even know. Back then I was a little bit more naive and I think physically maybe a little bit faster. I think I've gotten faster now at like biking. I feel more confident in my cycling, but the sport
Yeah.
has also gotten faster. So relative to other people, I've kind of stayed similar. But I don't know what we've built, what Eric and I have built together over the last 10 years and having TTL and having a community at events and being a little bit more recognized and feeling like there's a bigger purpose than just my race results is kind of a cool thing and something I never experienced back in my first races. It was like, I'm just racing and I'm here for myself. And now we go to events and there's like tons of people that come up to us and we have group runs and
Right.
meeting people face to face who listen to our podcast and watch our YouTube videos. Like that all is really important to us and makes it more meaningful than how I finish.
That's awesome. And I mean, does that make you, and that balance make you feel like the sport is healthier and more sustainable for you because it's kind of this like lifestyle and like holistic thing and not just like Paula must win races, right?
For sure, yeah. What we've built with TTL has made us able to do this for so long, I think. And of course I'm like racing well and Eric was racing well till he had his surgery last year, but I think the bigger thing that makes us appealing to sponsors and able to live this life for so long is what we built outside of the racing and it's like taken off bigger than we ever thought it would with having a little team this year and having development athletes that we sponsor and thankfully we hired Jordan Bryden to work with us
Oh,
now.
cool.
So
Right.
we have an employee, I guess, who kind of takes the load of all that off of me. But
Yeah.
I'm certainly still like a big part of it and it's a big part of our lives. So yeah, it's all
That's
good.
great. Yeah. I was going to ask how you balanced it, but now I know the answer is Jordan Bryden.
Jordan Bryden. I actually, until last year, I was doing all the emails, the customer service, like
Oh,
a
no
lot of the
way.
logistics and stuff, which it is
Yeah.
good to have a focus aside from swim, bike, run every day, but
Sure.
it got stressful too because I can't control when people's packages arrive and all that. So yeah, Jordan takes all the stress away from me. I don't even hear about half the stuff that's going on. So it does help a lot with me just like being able to focus on racing for now until I retire.
Tell me that, like, does Jordan still like sign off with your name? Because I imagine if I was like, excuse me, TTL, my order is a week late, and Paula Findlay responds back like, oh, so sorry, we'll get it to you when we can. I feel like probably has some weight to
Oh,
it.
they were
People are like,
so
oh, that's cool.
understanding. For sure, yeah. When I reply, and I still go on once in a while and I'll answer people,
Yeah.
but they can't believe that it's like Eric or I ourselves replying. But Jordan's cool because he's kind of built a character in our little world as being
Yeah.
like super Mr. Helpful and he runs the team camps and he's always there if you need anything.
It's great.
So people love Jordan as well. And I think it's a super small team that we're working with, but it still feels like close knit and people know us. So that's cool for sure.
And it helps that Jordan is like the nicest guy.
Yeah, almost too nice. Canadian boy.
No, it's a little creepy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
no, Jordan's
awesome.
great. And he's comes to some races and stuff too. So it's good to have him around.
That's sweet. Would you say you're having more fun now than you were earlier in your career? It's an easy question, I think.
Oh, good question. No, not necessarily. I think like early when I was going to school and racing ITU and
Right.
winning WTS races, it was like my entire life. Like I didn't have a boyfriend. I never went out to anything past 8. I was laser focused on swim, bike, run, and I was one of the best in the world at it. I think now I have more balance in my life. But I still have just as much like pressure, I guess, and expectation of myself. But at the same time, want to like do the fun things and take the dogs for walks. And like we have a house, we have a home base. So just life is totally different now. I'm not a teenager anymore who's living at home and have this uni focus on triathlon. I have other things in life that I really like now. And sometimes that draws me away from like being the absolute best athlete I could be, I think. But it's created the ability for me to do this for such a long time because I have other things in my life now. So
for sure.
I don't know if I am enjoying it more now than before. I don't know, but it's just different. It looks different.
And I'm surprised by that answer because it seems like you're enjoying it more than you had before. But
the other thing though now is like social media is so big, and even 10 years ago there was no Instagram, no one saw YouTube videos about us. It was like whatever our race results were and maybe like an article in Triathlon magazine Canada, that's what you saw of us. And now it's like this kind of rose-colored glasses view of our life, and we have an amazing life. I'm not complaining in any way, but social media definitely creates this illusion of like perfection and everything is great and everything is wonderful and happy. And I try as much as I can to be transparent about my ups and downs, and we have a podcast where I'm pretty open about not just the good things, but also the bad things. But I think it's kind of deceiving if you get like sucked into social media too much, what happiness is, and if things are going well or not well. It's hard to tell sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, that's a greater dialogue on the entirety of social media there. So
yeah,
that's I think
I hate it.
I think that's what it's kind of the worst, isn't it? It is.
Yeah,
it's kind of the worst.
Necessary evil. Okay.
It is. And I think it, like, to be fair, like very necessary and obviously an integral part to what you guys have built, right? But it's not always fun.
Yeah, we kind of treat it also like I am a creative kind of person. Like I love taking pictures. I love making them as composition cool, and that part of Instagram I really like. But the comparing myself, seeing what other people are doing, that can be a bit toxic. So yeah, it's for sure a balance of all of that.
For sure. Okay, so gotta ask the question because obviously you're doing Lake Placid, and we know you're a fan of the sport. Is Kona a goal? Are we hoping to get a Kona spot and get out there this year and have that experience?
Yeah, like I've been looking on Airbnb to book a Kona accommodation, but it feels so silly to do that before I've qualified. So, but it definitely means that I'm interested if my body is like, book a hotel or whatever you got to do. So yeah, I'm optimistic that I'll qualify. Honestly, I could, if I like won Placid, but couldn't go to Kona, I'd be completely happy. Like my focus right now is to have the best race that I possibly can in Lake Placid. And it's not with Kona in mind, like it'd be amazing to get a Kona slot and to go race there, but that's not why I'm doing it. It's so that I can go and do a good Ironman and see what the experience is like. I don't know. I mean, there's 4 slots there, I think. I'm trying not to think about that part of it. I just want to go and be on the podium. That's like my goal. And if I do that, I'll get a Kona slot. So
yeah, I think that's a great mindset going in. And I think if it's one of those things that you have, like you're going for that experience, you're going to prove to yourself something to solve that problem. And if you do well, the gift you get yourself is a cool place on Elite Drive to stay for the Ironman. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, totally. It's kind of how I approached Olympic qualification back in the day. If you got too into the criteria and the discretion
Right.
and like what you had to do exactly to qualify, that was a bit toxic. But if you just go and are the best on the day, you will qualify. So Simon Whitfield gave me that advice like a long time ago. Just like win the race and then you'll qualify. So it's an outcome.
That's
it's not
awesome.
like a goal, right? So that's kind of my
Absolutely.
mindset.
Dude, I love that. And have you gone through and looked at Airbnbs on like, I've now just searched the ones where they're refundable till like a week out? Like you do that to like let yourself feel a
Oh,
little
when
more
I look at,
comfortable?
yeah, I have to book the cancelable ones. But to be honest, it's so overwhelming because they're all expensive and they're all kind of like old little condos. I don't know. It's not like a fun thing to look for places to stay because you're like, how much am I going to spend going to Kona? And Lindsay's warned me
Well,
of this. It's like the $10,000 vacation, but
totally.
got to
Totally.
do it.
Well, you've got Caden and Chris. I'm sure that'll help you if you need any contacts for
Oh,
places to
that's
stay over
right.
there.
Sleep in
The Leotos
sleep
will
in their
take care
pool
of you.
house.
Yeah, they'll figure something out. Sweet. Well, excited for Placid for you. I think we talked about it a little bit last year, and genuinely, like, I think that is the perfect course for you for your Ironman debut, and it's one that you can like all Ironmans can be fun, but there's just something that's so epic about Placid, the spectators there, the course, and just like the energy and the history. So I think you're gonna knock it out of the park. Looking forward to it.
Thank you. I just booked flights like 10 minutes ago before we started talking. So it's
Oh, cool.
happening.
Sweet.
Just got to stay
It's
healthy.
happening. Sweet. Okay, before I let you go, we're going to go through a little just kind of rapid fire questions. Like first thing that comes to your head, doesn't have to be a long answer, just in and out, and we'll see what comes out. Okay,
All right.
favorite race course?
70.3 St. George.
Thought you might say that. Most underrated race?
Maybe 70.3 Boise.
Yeah, I like it because that race, it was big back in the day. So stoked they brought it back, and just that venue and those people are awesome.
Yeah,
Sweet.
it's a fun course. I liked it.
This is a hard one. Let's see. Biggest triathlon myth.
That is a really hard one. Biggest triathlon myth.
We'll
You're gonna
skip
have to
it.
cut
We'll
out my
edit it
huge pause. I'll think about it.
out. We'll edit it out.
What would you say?
That it is the like the fittest person wins on race day,
I like that. Yeah.
because that's rarely the case.
It's the person who's the most mentally fit, maybe. Everyone's pretty
Yeah.
fit.
Yeah, for sure. It's the adaptable athlete. Like I talked to Craig Alexander about this, and I'm like, how many perfect races do you have? He's like, absolutely zero, and certainly
Yeah.
no perfect races in Kona. And that guy won a ton of races. So
Yeah,
it's
totally.
kind of
I like that answer.
how you respond. Athlete you'd least want to be beside late in a marathon.
Least? Oh, geez. Maybe Jackie, because I don't know. I know I would love to run beside Jackie the whole way. And then I'd love if she, like, if I don't win, I want her to win. So she'd be the person I'd like to be running against. Maybe Taylor Knibb. I don't know.
Okay.
She's a little fierce and scary.
She would be scary to run next to for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I love it. Last TV show you binge watched?
Shrinking.
It's
Is that what it's called?
It's so cheesy, but it's so good.
It's our favorite
Harrison
show
Ford.
right now. Yeah, we love it.
That's amazing. Who do you think is the smartest racer in the sport?
I think Solveig currently. You know,
Yeah,
she's not
she-
at the
she-
front right from the start, but she paces herself perfectly. She's a bit like Daniela Reef, like comes back on the bike strong and runs solid
She-
every time.
She's figured it out pretty quick. She's
Yeah.
figured it out pretty quick.
So
It's
quick. And it
funny.
looks like she exploded on the scene, but I know she's been racing and training forever, kind of like I did in short course, where you don't pay
Yeah,
attention
yeah.
to it as a long course fan, but it suits her so well, obviously, the long stuff.
Totally. Okay, which one of you, between you and Eric, is most likely to forget something on race morning?
Probably Eric. He's a bit more scatterbrained, but the dynamic of him coming to races with me, because he's recovering from surgery, and being there to help me is kind of nice because we together, our brains, we don't forget anything. He takes care of my bike. I do the logistics. It's a good team effort. So it was more hairy when like we were both trying to race at the same time. Then we were likely to forget stuff.
That's awesome. Good follow-up. What's the most Eric thing that Eric does?
He gets home from a bike ride or a run in sweaty clothes and sits at his computer and edits all the pictures he took on the bike ride for hours. Like he'll be in his bibs for hours and it's so disgusting. It's a big pet peeve of mine. But he's got to like look at he's so excited about the pictures and the videos that it has to be immediate. So
that's awesome. Yeah. That's sweet. Best coffee shop in Bend.
Oh, Thump. We love Thump.
There you go. Bobby will like that answer. If triathlon disappeared tomorrow, what would you do?
I would... Oh, that's a hard one because then we couldn't even do TTL anymore because triathlon wouldn't exist. We would pivot to doing like off-road stuff, kind of like what Heather's done, I think. And not necessarily me, but like Eric doing it, me supporting it. Like so much what we discovered with TTL is that people are so curious about that stuff, triathletes, that I think it could be a good pivot. Yeah.
And I will say you've gotten a lot better handling your bike off-road than a few years ago.
I try to.
Yeah,
I think it makes you a better TT rider if you can ride your gravel bike on sandy roads because you just get used to that feeling of being a little out of control and like pushing power through it. So it helps TT riding for sure, I think. Yeah,
not dissimilar from a windy TT ride. Okay, and last one. Win at 70.3 Worlds or a podium at Kona?
Oh, win 70.3 Worlds for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, you've got a couple more chances probably, right? It's not. It was kind of a softball. I would have been surprised if you went the other way.
Yeah. No, I guess it's still possible. Anything is possible.
It certainly is. That's a motto of a brand I know. Anything is possible.
Yeah, I think Scott Giroux actually said that right before Hamburg when Jan was interviewing him. Like, how do you think this race is going to shake out? Well, anything is possible.
That's good. That's awesome.
Good answer.
Sweet. Well, Paula, can't thank you enough for getting on the pod. I know you got a busy week of travel ahead of you and big race this weekend. So thanks so much. Appreciate it.
No, it was fun. Thanks, Matt.
Great stuff from Paula. As always, one of the nicest athletes in the sport. And self-deprecation is something she's got on hand for sure. But no doubt she still has the power to win these races. So look for her at the next couple races this year. And to stay across the latest in the Experience Oman Ironman Pro Series news, follow Ironman Tri on Instagram and check out proseries.ironman.com for standings, athlete bios, episodes of A Fighting Chance, replays of all the races, and more. And of course, I also want to thank our presenting sponsor, Morton, the official sports performance nutrition partner of the Ironman Global Series. Not only do they fuel Ironman athletes on course, they fuel us here on the Ironman Insider. If you like this conversation, please like, share, and subscribe wherever you listen to this podcast. And if you're on the trainer, you can watch the podcast as well on the Ironman Triathlon YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining us on the Ironman Insider podcast presented by Morton. Be sure to keep an eye on this space for more great conversations as this incredible season continues. I'm your host, Matt Lieto. Thanks so much for listening in.